Since 2002, the Laws of Life program has been active in Georgia. This year we received essays from all across the state, over 40,000 of them. As Georgia Rotarians, we can lay claim to having reached into schools all across the state to positively influence young adults, and that's what we're about. From all those essays read and judged, we have declared a state winner. What an honor that is for this young lady. She's been awarded a $1,000 gift as part of her state recognition. Now, as part of her privilege and in our honor, she will read her essay. Her school, Alpharetta High School, is sponsored by the heroes of Windward Rotary Club. She is the daughter of Tim and Sheila Reardon, and Miss Sheila is here with us today. We're so glad to have her as our guest. Libby, who will be speaking to you, is in the 9th grade at Alpharetta High School. I've learned that she's insightful, she's compassionate, she's kind, and that she's been a lifelong artist, and I believe has a future in literature. Please welcome to this stage Miss Libby Reardon.
It's what's on the inside that counts. I still go back to that hot summer day every once in a while, back to the hustling crowds, the planes coming and going in the distance, and the hot sweat running down my neck and arms. My family and I were flying out of state for vacation. I do not remember where exactly we were going, but I do remember the odd chill down my spine, the feeling that I was being watched. Goosebumps broke out over the back of my neck and down my forearms, while my heart clamored inside my chest like a scared animal attempting to escape a cage. I was suddenly acutely aware of every pair of eyes and just waiting for them to turn and stare. I was afraid of the torments I may receive or the feeling that I wasn't like anybody else. Every time a nearby adult opened their mouth or a child pointed, I would cringe, waiting for the dreaded mention to my left cheek, the one that had been covered in a port wine stain since birth. It felt like decades since I hadn't cared about the red drops dribbling down my face. As I grew older, the stain had become my whole life, an obsession that constantly had me watching other people to see their reactions to my deformity. And now, in the airport, I was calculating every look, every passing glance as something negative. We walked slowly amongst the masses of people towards our terminal, my eyes darting to every sweaty creature we were close to. But then, in the midst of distractions and hurried movements, I first saw the soldier. He was tall and slim, yet well-built. His outgrown hair fell well below his damp cap, and one of his pant legs was rolled up to reveal an empty space where the rest of his leg should have been. I stared at him as we passed, unable to take my eyes off him. But it wasn't his leg I was fixated on. It was his open, smiling expression and the way that he was shaking hands with a group of travelers surrounding him. He was acting completely and utterly normal, a feat I was never able to even imagine myself doing. I watched as a man gestured to his stump, an action that surely would have resulted in tension with the soldier. But he just shrugged his shoulders and kept smiling as if to say, "It just happened." I must have been gaping by that time. For once in my life, I wasn't preoccupied with how people were seeing me, but with how this man dealt with how people saw him. And then he looked up and he saw me. I stiffened and my eyes were itching to look away, to not attract any more attention to myself. But then he smiled. He smiled so warmly that I had a feeling that I should check to see if he was looking at me or at someone else. I gave a tiny smile, and to my surprise, he nodded at me. And for once in my life, I didn't feel alone. And as I continued walking past the soldier, I couldn't help but think about his perspective and actions. Even though in appearance he was handicapped and far from perfect, he still gave life the best he could without missing a beat. Suddenly, the crowds of passengers hustling by weren't so important anymore, and their opinions on what I looked like were even less important. A weight had been lifted off my shoulders, and as I smiled to myself, a simple whisper caressed my mind. It's what's on the inside that counts. I'm so lucky to have all that I have and the people that I love. and it only took a nod of acceptance from a soldier in the middle of a crowd on a hot summer's day. Thank you.
You heard Anna read her essay. Did you hear what she said? Did you hear her say, I was afraid of the torments I may receive or the feeling that I wasn't like anybody else? Then she saw the soldier, and his compassionate, all-knowing smile led to a realization that different didn't have to be bad. We've all felt conspicuous or different at times. What Anna felt, to some degree, we've all felt. And the lessons that she teaches us, she teaches across the board to the students at her school as well. Alpharetta High School has benefited from having Anna Reardon read her essay. The truth she learned that there are a lot of different normals, that it's not the outward appearance that's important, but it's what's in the heart that makes the difference. That's a very Rotarian concept. I think that what we should realize is that Anna is a true winner. She's won this contest, and there are lots of other winners all across our district and across the state. The truth, the honesty, the pain, and the growth that are palpable in these essays are remarkable. Our kids are living in a fast-paced world. They are confronted with temptations at internet speed. As adults, and particularly as Rotarians, we must do all we can to put up barriers to block the illicit influences on our kids. I know that you agree with me that creating positivity is a way to reduce negativity. We have provided affirmation to Anna and to the other winners. But in addition to that, we have 40,000 other essays that have been brought forward. Those are all opportunities to see into kids' lives. For the kids that took this effort to heart, we have learned, and we've learned from them. We have felt the heart they revealed. We've seen a glimpse of their humanity, a view that wouldn't be revealed in 1,000 text messages, tweets, or Facebook likes. I know that for me, I find these essays uplifting, encouraging, and confirming. I feel privileged that these kids share their hearts with us. I'm so thankful that we have the Laws of Life tool in place. It's not the whole answer, but it's one answer. In this fast-paced world we live in, we have to do all we can to help the kids. And you know, I deal with teenagers a lot in my job. I know that on the surface, it's a poor resemblance of what they feel in their heart. If you and I don't care to try and look beneath the surface, if we don't use whatever tools we can to dig deeper, we can pass kids right along to disappointing, discouraging, and poorly productive lives. Our teachers have demanding jobs. They need us. The kids need us. My fellow Rotarians, it is our obligation to fight for these kids and to support the school systems. It is you and I that make the Laws of Life program possible. It is you and I who can see it reach more kids and be even more successful. Being a sponsor of the Laws of Life program in a school is one way that your club can be filled with Rotarian heroes. Thank you very much.